Ahtisa Manalo. How are you guys?
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all the people watching on the live stream and watching on the replay, most especially. We're talking to the founders of Kumi Philippines, and we'll be talking about what made them work during this pandemic. How did they discover the brand? How they're marketing it, and how and any tips and just good vibe story. So please listen. My name is Anton Diaz, founder of our Awesome Planet. This is Awesome Live with the founders of Kumi Philippines. All right, thank you. And we're here talking to thank you for all right, game, Mike and Atisa. Maybe you can start with a short introduction, and if you can talk about how you discovered the Kumi brand and brought it here in the Philippines.
Sure. So a little bit of background about myself. So Filipino Chinese, born in Zamboanga. However, after 6 months, I grew up in Australia. So moved to Australia, grew up there, and then in 2016, came back to the Philippines to assist and help my father's business. And then 2019, really wanted to venture out and do my own thing. So very fortunate enough with Ahtisa to have brought the brand to the Philippines as of 2019.
Yes, and Atisa, how can you do a short introduction?
For sure. I'm Ahtisa Manalo. I'm 24. I brought Kumi with Mike from Australia, and I handle marketing of Bison Ventures and Kumi Philippines.
What about Kumi? Did you guys that really piqued your interest to bring it here in Manila? What was that component of Kumi that you like?
I'll start. So basically, we are avid milk tea lovers in the Philippines.
Yes.
Some of our favorite milk tea brands, of course, you have Macau's, your Tiger Sugars and whatnot. Weekly, so we used to order them like 3 or 4 times a week. So we were on holidays in the Philippines in early 2019, and we stumbled across a store, huge line. So 100, 150 people waiting in line. So we're very curious. So normally I'm normally impatient and I don't like lining up, but being on holidays in relaxed mode. So lined up, got to the front of the line and saw it was a beverage, a yogurt beverage. And then basically at first sip of the signature Kumi purple rice, we loved it. We thought it's a little bit of a risk because Filipinos, when they think about yogurt, they think it's either maasim and not so much for the Filipino palate. But we thought, given that there was an influx of a lot of gyms and we believe Filipinos are transitioning to eating healthier, we said, let's give it a go and try bringing the brand to the Philippines. So that's how it all started.
Okay. Let's go back to opening your first branch. What was going on to your mind opening that first branch? When was it? And I know that's like right before the pandemic. How did you guys handle that?
We actually got the brand around March of 2019, but we opened our first store in November 2019 because we wanted to polish everything marketing wise from the taste of it. We wanted it to be catered to the Filipino taste also, and we're perfectionists, so we wanted to introduce it that it's perfect already. We don't have to change anything. So there.
Yeah, and what was the biggest challenge? Because that's really like when lockdown started, and people are starting at home. And I know that the brand you have to go to the store itself, right?
Yes, correct. So I guess to touch on our first branch opened in SM Podium, November 16, 2019, and we're quite aggressive in that sense because we really wanted to launch out the first yogurt beverage in the Philippines in a big way. So we actually opened 4 stores in the span of 4 weeks, which took us to the end of 2019. And then prior to March 15, when the nation went on lockdown, we were able to open another 2 branches, which was our Rockwell and our SM Mega Mall branch. So prior to the actual pandemic, we had a total of 6 branches. Throughout 2020, we opened 14 branches. So by the end of 2020, it took us to 20 stores nationwide, or more or less focused on Metro Manila. And then this year, currently we have 35 branches operational, and we will end the year with a total of 60 Koomis spanning towards Metro Manila, Cebu, Bacolod, Iloilo, Davao, CDO, and then my hometown, Zamboanga City.
All right. We have somebody watching from Zamboanga, Linda watching from Zamboanga. So so what make it work when you open did it work initially when you opened the first store, or did it work, after the pandemic when people are more like healthy conscious?
I think one of the things to touch on what Ahtisa mentioned before, we spent a lot of time trying to perfect the brand prior to launching a market. I'm super love the maasim taste of yogurt, and then when we actually did a lot of our FGD tastings, there were some mixed feedback in regards to the sour taste of the yogurt itself. So you'll see one of the really marketing ideas behind the Kumi brand is we offer a Filipino blend and an Aussie blend itself. So Filipino more creamier, less maasim, and then obviously if you love that maasim flavor of yogurt, we offer the Aussie blend. So I think that's one of the major driving factors behind the success. Because what we normally do is we get them to try first the yogurt, try their obviously what they're comfortable with, which is the Filipino blend, and then slowly build up their taste buds towards the Aussie sour tasting yogurt, which we're known for today. I think that's one of the major driving factors, and the flexibility that we're able to offer Filipino type flavors within the brand itself. So we offer our take on our mango cracker or mango bravo dessert. We also offer ube in market, obviously avocado. So really a lot of the Filipino favorites as well to tailor towards the Filipino taste.
Okay. And when you were marketing it pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and even now, what made it work? What did you guys? How are you guys marketing it? And what did you find work for the Filipino market, particularly for this, yogurt type of drink?
We really wanted to introduce something that is a healthier alternatives to what we're really used to. Because of course, yogurt has probiotics, and then it's paired with fruit, so you get your vitamins and nutrients with it. So it's something that we really pushed in the market, because that's something that Filipinos, more so now that there is a health scare, Filipinos really want something that is healthy and something that is beneficial, where you spend your hard-earned money for.
Yeah. Now, just a question: how did you guys, or how did the market accepted the frozen drink? Because there was a frozen yogurt craze before, that threatened the ice cream market, and it became a fad. It only Pinkberry survived to this date, and then you guys came in with not a frozen yogurt, but a yogurt drink. So I mean, what made it work?
I think it's more on the format. As we are aware, 2015, brands like Cocoa and the milk tea craze resurged. Prior to that, I remember before you have your brands like Zagu, also
Yes.
Chaptime and Gongcha, really one of the pioneers. Then in 2015 until 2019, it went unbelievably crazy. At least 30 to 40 brands launched throughout the Philippines. I think the format that we are a tropical country, very humid, and having the format that it's an easy and accessible price point to a lot of Filipinos, which when they enjoy their favorite pastime, which is going to all the malls, they enjoy their beverage while they're walking around doing their shopping as well. So I think we always say we ride on the popularity of milk tea, but we're a guiltless goodness, more healthier option.
Yeah. So I guess you're going after that coffee and iced tea, milk tea drinker as well, or are you going after the health, the whole health buff market?
A little bit of a balance, I think. We try to make sure majority of our products are paired with fruits that are healthy, but of course, I guess we always look at a balanced lifestyle and a balanced diet as well. So you do have to have your cheat meals or your indulgent drinks as well. So yeah, more of a balance in that case to at least hit everyone. The great thing about the Kumi brand and the the 20 drinks that we always showcase is that we're confident that there is definitely going to be at least 1 to 2 flavors that are going to be your go-to. And then hopefully, like your more, more brave customers, they'll go through and try all the different flavors themselves.
Okay. What does Kumi stand for? Just for everybody else.
Kumi is the name of our cow. So the logo you see, the smiling cow, that's its name, Kumi.
And then
does it have
similar-
a reason why is it Kumi?
I guess one itself is it's actually the cow itself. So no real reason actually. They thought it was a cool, fun name. And so what we did with the marketing is we attributed the brand name or the name Kumi itself not to the cow, actually to the drink. So when people say that it's part of a lot of our taglines, what's your Kumi for today itself? So yeah, so again, part of our extensive marketing that we carried out prior to launching the brand in the Philippines.
So whenever you hear the word Kumi, you always associate it with yogurt drink.
Ah, nice. Now, I actually have a question, but let's pick up some question. No? Isai was asking, does Kumi accept bookings for events, or do you just do just the retail things?
I guess based on the pandemic right now, knowing that obviously bigger, larger groups is actually bowel at the moment or very controlled, we don't currently, but we're geared up and we're ready to. Actually, we've got formats of kiosks that we can cater towards up to 200 or 300 people, offering our full range of drinks for private events. And also we're actually currently, it's actually off the cuff, we're working with our team quite closely to build our own Kumi truck, which we can actually have on wheels and bring Kumi straight to our customers itself for this exact same reason for events and bookings.
All right. And then another question. Do you have sampler pack or like Kumi flights for different flavors?
Because it's fresh and we make it fresh in store there and there. We don't. If you go to stores, you can try different flavors.
Yes, but what we do is in store, we guide the customer through the whole process. So very much part of the brand is transparency. What we try to do is when we feature the drink or we list the ingredients or the name of the drink, we actually put a photo of the drink itself. So what you see is what you get as well. And the great thing about it as well is under the different Kumi drinks we have our recommended add-ons as well. So one of my favorites is avocado and then add-on of pistachio. So we guide the customer through what we believe are our best combinations and flavors.
Okay. Now, I really wanted to know what was going on in your mind when the lockdown started in March 2020, because a lot of franchise that launched a few months before that decided just to close or cannot continue because cut their losses while it's just a few months. But you guys, you decided just to go ahead, and expand. I'm not sure whether that was an instinctive move or what was going on in your mind when the lockdown started.
Yeah, this is the best. We did close for like a week or two, but then Mike and I we get bored easily, so we thought we were not doing anything at home. Why not open one of our Kumi stores? I actually was a cashier, and Mike was doing drinks in our first branch, the Podium. We would pick up our staff from their homes so that we would have help. So that's it. It started from there, and then afterwards we realized that our employees, especially their families, need help also during this trying time. So from there we started opening back up our stores one by one so that we could help our employees.
Exactly. Actually, it was, I remember we closed down March 15, and then in the span of 2 weeks, I had watched everything on Netflix, including all the Korean dramas, all the Filipino love stories. So I said, you know what? I can't stay home anymore. Let's continue the brand. It's a healthier option. So yeah, similar to what Ahtisa mentioned, we were physically working in the store. We like to lead by example. So we're working in store. Ahtisa was a cashier, so one of the prettiest cashier we've ever had in Kumi. And then I was on the drinks with a couple of staff. And then slowly we saw the need that as long as we followed a lot of the COVID protocols in regards to social distancing, we wanted to continue the brand. So we opened up a store each week after until all our stores were currently open, serving Koomis and guiltless goodness to all Filipinos. And then from then we just looked at expansion because we saw that it was an opportunity for us.
Okay. And how did you think about your delivery strategy?
Yeah, so I from the very beginning, we had only launched in January 16 of 2020 onto Grab Food, and we have a very strong partnership with them. But as soon as we went to lockdown in March 15, and then when we reopened, I believe it was April 7, we decided to meet with all the delivery aggregators. Our main strategy was to be available to everyone on every single channel for visibility. So that was one of our biggest strategies. And then in that span, obviously being available to everyone, we went through our numbers and looked at what made sense. And then we were at an exclusive partnership for Grab for a little part over a year. And then obviously as well, knowing that we were going to expand to the provinces, we saw that Foodpanda had a bigger and wider footprint. So we made a strategic decision to be available on both delivery aggregators to ensure that we have as much exposure and we're accessible to everyone that wants to buy our drinks.
Yeah. And how did you think about the pricing strategy? Is it cheaper than if you'll buy it in Australia, or cheaper versus like the milk teas or the coffee drink? How can you share with us how do you think about the pricing for the brand?
Well, basically what we wanted to do was we wanted to be very competitive towards milk tea. The second conception about yogurt, besides being maasim, is it's mahal and expensive.
Yes, correct.
We really wanted to make sure that we could offer a alternative. And when we talk about alternative, it means same price point in regards to milk tea itself. So that was one of the driving factors. The second driving factor is actually in Australia, the average Kumi is double our price here in the Philippines. But what we have working for us in the Philippines is we have lower rates when it comes to rentals and when it comes to actual all-in total investment in the very beginning. So it was probably a 3-month full in-depth analysis in regards to our competitors, which are the milk tea players in market. Two, more on what Filipinos were willing to spend for a yogurt drink itself. And then 3, more on what worked in Australia. Pricing is very, very important when it comes to any business itself, and having margins that are very sustainable for the business growth. So it was a huge process, but I believe we got it right. So yeah, it's why we were able to expand and why we're able to offer an alternative to a lot of the other Filipino favorites, being milk teas and, as you mentioned, iced coffees, frappes, and so on, so on.
Yeah. And so ice cream is not a competitor.
No, we don't believe so. Being that we're all natural itself. Actually, all our milk for our yogurt is imported from Australia currently, and everything is manufactured here locally. So it touches into one of our big, I guess, values and advocacies as a business. When we first launched, 77% of all our items were sourced from overseas. I'm very proud with Ahtisa and our team now. 97% of all our products are sourced locally. And it's something we really tried to focus on through pandemic, is to support local businesses here in the Philippines.
Okay. Now, I have a marketing question for Ahtisa. I know you're the Chief Marketing Officer. What did you find working during the pandemic, during all this lockdown, in terms of marketing the brand? No? Was it more social media, more ads, more influencers? Maybe you can just share what worked for Kumi in getting that, recall that Kumi equals frozen drink.
We did a bit of everything, and again, COVID is a health scare like no other. So even in our social media, even when we invite influencers and all that, we always highlight that Kumi is a healthy drink. It'll help you with your immunity, with your gut, and everything. So I think with the help of social media, amplifications by ads, and all this, what made us work more talaga is putting out there that we're very healthy.
Interesting. Um, Yeah, that's really good. And in terms of in-store marketing in the malls, did you find that people pass by it and then they buy, or they really are going after Kumi when they go to the mall?
I think it's a bit of a combination. We're very fortunate enough throughout pandemic that we were able to secure a lot of locations and a lot of prime spots for the brand. So I think number one front of the mind in regards to the success of the brand is ensuring that we spend a little bit more time in regards to finding the right location for the brand itself and being very accessible for us to be obviously first of mind, so that we get a lot of people that pass by, whether or not they buy then and there, or there's a call to action next time they're in the mall. We're very present in regards to a visibility standpoint.
And we had to make sure our stores look pretty so that when you see it, you're
Yeah,
attracted to it. You want to go and see what's up.
Yes,
yeah. Oh, it looks
very
really
fully
nice.
designed.
That's
Yeah.
intentional. That's how it looks in Australia also.
Actually, no, we actually went to that
Tailored.
extra next level. So our tagline, "Guiltless Goodness," has come from our marketing team in the Philippines, which all Kumi worldwide has adopted now as well. But more
Wow.
so, we know that millennials, they love to show people what they're drinking, what they're eating, and we wanted to make sure it's very Instagrammable. So it's one of the forefronts which we kept in mind. So prior to pandemic, we did a study that 7 out of 10 customers would take a photo in store or of their Kumi drink. And out of that 7 customers, nearly 40% would actually post online through our social media channel. So we thought, let's invest more in the physical stores. Let's be Instagrammable because it will pay us dividends later on in regards to marketing and visibility.
Okay. And now, the key question: how are you guys able to expand? Like one store per week, correct? From here on onwards. And then, as you said, how many is owned by the company, and how many are franchised?
Yeah, so prior to in 2019, we were able to open 4 stores. So started with our first branch in SM Podium, November 16. Very aggressive. We actually opened 4 in 4 weeks. So the team didn't sleep. We just focused on opening all our stores throughout the Christmas craze. Prior to the pandemic, we opened our 2 further locations, which was Mega Mall and Rockwell. And then pandemic hit. We opened 14 stores throughout 2020 pandemic. And then so far this year, we've opened 15 stores. We have 35 operational, and we plan to open another 25 by end of year. So I think one thing is we have a bit of a hybrid model. In the very beginning, I was very much against the franchise model itself
Okay.
because we really want to control the consistency of the brand and also control the quality as well. But looking at there, we do have competitors in market. So we pivoted very quickly to ensure that we can actually saturate a lot of Metro Manila with the brand Kumi. So we opened up the franchise model. And then actually just recently, over the last 4 to 5 months, we had analyzed our numbers and looked into our figures in depth. And we're proud to say we bought back a lot of our stores, and we are 80% majority owned by our company, Kumi Philippines.
What? Why is that? No, I'm just asking because the milk tea is a different model. You know, they do like 80% franchise just to cover like 100 stores in a few months. So maybe can you share your wisdom on why is that?
I guess knowing that the milk tea market is a little bit more saturated and that there is a lot of players that take a piece of the pie, maybe that's why they went to franchise model to ensure that they can obviously saturate their brand as well. On our side, because we didn't really have too many competitors, we were able to analyze the numbers and try to build in a model where we invest in the store. We look to make sure the store is very pretty, but also a model where we can occupy a smaller space between kiosk and also a smaller inline space for less investment to have a faster ROI. And given that our stores were doing quite well and numbers wise, it allowed us to be able to, I guess, expand a lot faster when it comes to initial investment and opening our stores and brands.
Yeah, that's good. I'll just pick up some Of course, Edna Hilton said, "So proud of you, Mike and Atisa." Antonio Sebastian watching
Shout out, mom.
from Zamboanga. A lot of the Zamboanga Mafia is here. Edwina Salde. Chef Ed Bugia is also looking here. Hi, Chef. Wow. So, really interesting. Congratulations. So, if we were to sum up, what were the key lessons that you learned, operating a food, chain and expanding during this pandemic? And I know a lot of people are still struggling, how to handle this pandemic. If you can summarize your biggest lesson that you can share.
For my side, I think one of the important things we really did is we always put in our minds that we are helping the families of our employees. And that's the reason why we opened back up our stores during the pandemic. And I think it's still one of the reasons why we're striving to be bigger and better. And it's for that. I think that's one of the key learnings from my side.
I think on my side, one of the major things that we looked at, I actually started working at a young age. So I actually started working at 13, and my passion has always been and always will be food and beverage. So foodie at
Mhm.
heart. When I want to de-stress, I'll come home and I'll start cooking. But one of the biggest things, I guess, that we would say at the forefront would be having a very clear vision and being able to communicate to that vision to all our staff so that we're all aligned. I guess the other side would be definitely the educational process to ensure that the staff are aligned on what we want to do from a staffing perspective, even to the thought process of when we vaccinated. We're proud to say that majority of our staff between our mother company Bison and all our Kumi stores are already vaccinated, first and second dose. And it all comes down to the education process. I think there was a bad stigma in market very early on that there were a lot of false truths behind the vaccination process. When we first did our first internal survey about our staff being vaccinated, I think we only hit 46%. So similar to the process when we opened up our store, the directors really try to lead from example. So we were one of the first batches to get vaccinated, and then I think everyone else also followed through as well. And the last thing is obviously the education process to our customers. I think nowadays our customers like to know the story behind the brand, understanding that Kumi, and when you associate dairy, it's from Australia, and then also understanding the transparency that we are definitely a healthier alternative to a lot of your indulgent beverages in market as well. And then I guess last thing would be being creative. Throughout pandemic, we've had to pivot a few times between not wanting to franchise itself, having competitors in market, and then wanting to saturate. We had to pivot our business model and being very flexible. A lot of market research goes into a lot of our decisions at the end of the day. But more so, yeah, being creative, not just also in regards to our franchisees and our partners, and also including our stakeholders and our suppliers, but also being creative in the sense where we build on these relationships and then we try to help each other. When we talk about business and Kumi, we always look at a win-win for both sides of the business. So yeah, just I guess healthy advice that really pushed us through the pandemic, and then hopefully will push us through as a nation past 2021 and a brighter 2022. Not just that, besides Kumi, we're actually launching 3 more brands for this year besides the brand Kumi. One is
Mm.
Greek, a Greek restaurant style service that comes from Greece itself. Also salads, which is a take on us wanting really for people to be able to afford a healthier eating option more than once every 2 weeks. We want to be their healthy eating option 3 or 4 times a week, and a loose leaf tea brand, Darlington, Australia. So yeah, so being creative, and then again, combination. It's always about being creative, hard work, a little bit of luck also helps as well, and then leaving the rest up to God.
All right. How do you see the post-pandemic world in terms of restaurant industry, particularly here in Manila?
I think I might start. I believe the pandemic, because we're in lockdown, to be honest, everyone now is probably about 3 or 4 notches in regards to skill level as a better cook. So what it's actually done is it's forced Filipinos and it's forced our business owners to ensure that we step up our quality. We ensure that we're serving very consistent in regards to our products itself. I guess the other element is ensuring that we always deliver on our product consistently across the board, day in day out.
All right. Very well said. Now, final tip. What are your favorite flavors and any tips or secret combination that you enjoy in Kumi?
I think my favorite would still be the classic stick on me purple rice because it's the first thing we've tried in Australia, and it's I think it's a certain combination of the sweetness and the sourness of the yogurt plus the bitey more familiar taste of the rice. So that for me that's still my favorite. And if you add on mango, it tastes like that Thai dessert mango rice.
Mike?
I've got a few from my secret menu. I love why not coconut, which is without activated charcoal, coconut. And what I do is I add in nata and add in rice, and it tastes like the Filipino dessert pico.
Yeah.
Pico. Yes,
Pico.
right. I also like avocado and pistachios as one of my favorites. And then lastly, I've been really drawn into of recent our banana dance with berries, which is our blueberries, strawberries, and bananas all blended, and then we add in mochi as a sinker.
Wow. Wow. Woohoo! And Spanky was commenting waterberry is the best. So, and I guess they'll go with Chef Ed Bugia soon. So, all right. Thank you so much. Final message and invite people to Kumi. Final message to the industry, to other food entrepreneurs, and if you can invite them to Kumi.
Yeah, so I guess our final message would be really for us, really stay true to your brands. Make sure that you stay true not just to the brand, but always from the bottom up, from the frontliners, the staff, very much so. And then obviously the other side is, yeah, you can find us available right now in 35 branches throughout Luzon, and then coming soon to a lot of the provinces throughout Visayas and Mindanao. So we're very excited to give this goodness to all Filipinos.
And also you can order right now through your phones. We're available in Food Panda and Grab Food.
All right. And do you accept application for franchise or not anymore?
Are you the one to franchise?
Yes, we do. We're always looking at strengthening our partnerships with Filipinos that really love the brand. Actually, to be honest, we're very humbled to say that since we launched the brand in 2019, we've had about 500 plus applications. One thing that the team does really well is ensuring that it's not just about a transactional, I guess, partnership. We really like to get to know our franchisees. So I'm sure there's a few of our franchisees listening out there or that will replay that. We have such a strong connection and relationship with them because we see that they're very much supporters of the brands. And before we even look to franchise, we ask them, they need to do their homework first. They need to, one, they definitely need to have tried Kumi and tried all the flavors. And two, also try the competitors. We want to make sure that we are really the number one natural drinking yogurt in the Philippines.
All right. Wow. Congratulations. So they can also visit your website, right? Kumi.
Yeah.
Kumi.ph, which contains all the locations and franchise and a lot of stuff. So, all right. Congratulations, guys. And thank you for sharing your knowledge, your inspiration, and good vibes to everybody in the industry. And good luck. I think what I learned from you guys, I think you're on the right track on that, healthy, immune boosting empire in Manila soon with Greek, Darjeeling tea, and what was the other one? Greek.
Oh my Greek.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and then-
Greek. Oh my
Yes.
Greek. And
And Zig Salad.
yes. And so congratulations again. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Ahtisa. And thank you to all watching in the live stream and watching on the replay. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.
Yeah.
everyone.
Kumi. Bye-bye.